My closest friend of 40 years has blocked me from any and all contact with her. To preface, she and I have been through a lot together and she's had my back forever. But she's a Republican and I'm a Democrat. After going toe-to-toe a few years ago, we agreed not to talk politics, though she would throw some shady comments in now and again which I wouldn't acknowledge. At one of our last lunches together, which was over a year ago, she teased me for wearing a mask. She also says she believes she never had breast cancer. She went through a lumpectomy and chemo and has been in remission for 5 years, yet still states she never had cancer. Once I realized she blocked me, I tried to contact her and even went to her house, as this relationship is too valuable to just drop without an explanation. She didn't answer the door. I put a note in her door. Nothing. I've asked a couple of friends close to us who, while they are still friends with both of us, do not want to get involved. I grieved about this for 2 months, then finally came to the conclusion that she has her reasons. At our last lunch together over a year ago, I told her when she has time to call me and we'll do lunch. Since it's been a year and I hadn't heard, I reached out. Nothing. I'm still hurt and confused and honestly a bit worried about her. Has this happened to anyone else? If you think of it this way, would you still be friends with them if you met them for the first time today? If people change, especially this drastically, you are under no obligation to keep them as friends. You have the right to re-evaluate your relationship. Denying that she had cancer is pretty serious stuff. People do develop mental illnesses. You've done your best to contact her. You can just mourn the loss and move on. I am so sorry that this has happened to you. I'm sorry that has happened to you. It's certainly sad at the loss of the friendship for so long. From my experience, you can't make her like you or spend time with you. The more you try, the more she'll pull away. You have to accept it. And maybe one day she'll come back. Same. A friend since kindergarten. Exact same thing. Except she also left her husband and kids, lost her business and house, and is currently living with her shut-in elderly mother. It's so sad. Some people go too far down rabbit holes. Nothing you can do. Thanks for the comments and honest opinions. The issue of mental illness hasn't been far from my thoughts. I lost my best friend of 35 years this year. She met a man, moved to a red state, joined a evangelical church, and has become this strange conservative robot person. The last straw was when she used personal things that I told her in confidence to illustrate why I am a sinner. It's this shitty mix of sadness and anger. I'm sorry you lost your friend. I think this became a little bit more common during the last couple of years because a lot of people got radicalized during the pandemic. It's kind of like losing someone to a cult. I guess this happened to a lot of people, especially in the United States. A similar thing happened with a person I used to consider a close friend. He just went down the Q rabbit hole and started increasingly pivoting every conversation into politics. I told him straight up that I didn't want to turn every conversation into a political debate. But he just kept trying. It eventually got to the point where I couldn't even send an innocent, non-political meme without it becoming a political argument. I eventually just cut him out of my life entirely. Because it just wasn't worth the stress it caused me. It sucks. But it happens. Sounds as if she might have fallen down the Q hole. I've lost quite a few friends since Trump was in office. They all went crazy. Has this happened to anyone else? Yes. My Republican Canon cousins believe that I either traffic eat babies or if I don't do it personally. I approve of the elite Democrats who do eat traffic children. I have known my canons for about 50 years, although I miss who they used to be. Sorta. I know they refuse to or can't be saved. Since crazy spreads in humans very quickly, I won't ever speak with any of them again. We all now know their insides are all fear, hatred, revulsion, violence towards anyone other than. Walk TF away. Your friend is an insane canon living in an alternate world. Our fox brain, our canon casualties, you are very much not alone. I just try to make sure the ball isn't in my court and I've reached out. Seems like you've done all you can do. I don't know what to say about political differences. I think they're so silly, but yeah. They cause rifts. Sorry. My wife has family members that don't like her politics. They cut her off. The most disgusting people in the world are the selfish religious bigots. Haven't spoken to my parents in more than a year. They moved down to Florida a few years ago and became DeSantis-loving assholes. Came to visit last year and told me they supported don't say gay laws in Florida because children were too young to learn about such things. I'm bi, which they know. Haven't spoken to them since. Must be fun having 2 children, neither of whom will speak to you. Is she in a bad relationship? Sometimes bad men will cut their women off from their social network. My parents actually did this to someone, and they told me later they deeply regretted it. She's in a cult. The fact that she blocked you without giving any reason or warning shows that she is a bad person. Unless your safety is threatened, there is no excuse whatsoever to block without giving a reason. None. You should tell someone that you will block them and why unconditionally unless safety is threatened. There was no excuse for her to do that. She is a horrible person and you are better off without her. I recently had a falling out with my best friend of 27 years. So yes, it sucks and I think about it every minute of every day. I'm really sorry. Friendship breakups are the worst and we have no rituals or even language for or about them in our culture. But also sometimes the trash takes itself out. This woman is clearly unstable, saying she didn't have breast cancer. A bad person made fun of you for wearing a mask. Let her go. She did you a favor, IMO. Lived overseas for a bit and made very good friends with a girl from the US. Kept in touch when I moved back to the UK and was bridesmaid at her wedding. Was going to be honorary aunt to her kid. Then I told her my mum had terminal lung cancer and I never heard from her again despite me trying for another 3 years. Still hurts nearly 10 years later. All you can do is extend the olive branch. It's up to them to accept the invite. No need to do mental gymnastics or search for meaning. She'll come back in time. You go on enjoying life. The hateful rhetoric on the right towards Democrats and liberals is just over the top. Like Democrats and liberals are Satanist and pedophiles for wanting affordable healthcare and education. These people eat it up as truth. And worship an adulterer and literal sex offender as their leader. MAGA is a legit mental illness, IMO.